What up, y'all? It's your man, yes, the Herman Star, back again with another video, and I'm here to do the general read for the sign of Virgo. So if you have Virgo in your chart, sun, moon, or rising, this is for you, for us. What's happening, my brothers and sisters in Mercury? What's going on? I apologize for missing yesterday. June is gonna be really a really packed month for me, or at least this June, right? As far as just scheduling goes, I can't really do Fridays anymore as far as reads right now. Yesterday I was at my nephew's graduation party, so shout out to the class of 2025. Whether you are going into college or graduating from college, heck, even graduating from middle school or elementary, but I don't think kids should watch this or should be watching my tarot videos. Anyways, my vids in general, but yeah. What's up, Virgo? How's it going? If you would like a personal read, feel free to shoot me an email. But again, here we go. So, we start off with the Hanged Man. Alright? So, I feel like there is definitely either a side of us that we need to let go of. Because we are going through a lot of right now. I would say that Virgos are having there's a lot of obstacles happening right now for Virgos. Our last few readings were not the most I guess one would say positive ones, but I wouldn't personally speaking, I wouldn't say that they were like the most negative as well. But I do think that a lot of the situations we want to change, I feel like we want change. I know I can only speak for me of course, but I feel like there's a lot of Virgos out there. We really want things to change in our life, right? For the better, of course, but there's some things we want to change. But we're not willing to, or we don't seem to, not every Virgo, but we don't seem to have an understanding that in order for things to change right now or whenever, we will then have to change something about ourselves. Now I'm not saying that as soon as we change, things are just going to instantly change. It could be a situation like that, but it could simply just be change of a mindset, change of like scenery. I remember a couple weeks ago when I did the reading for us, when I was outside, right? And definitely want to do readings outside some more. But when I was outside, the reading we got a couple weeks ago, and that may have been the last time we did a read. Oh, I did a read for you all. And that wasn't tied to the live stream I just recently did. It was about like just changing your scenery, like getting out of a situation that honestly needed to end. Now the Hangman is someone who is able to surrender and just let go of what it needs to be let go of. Simple as that. A lot of folks see this and they think stagnancy, which when it's reversed, right? That when the Hangman is like this, and I guess the standing man, but when the Hangman is like this, yeah, this is a bit of stagnancy here, but it came up like this. So there's not necessarily stagnant energy, in this reading, but we are holding ourselves back by, again, not letting go what no longer serves us. Again, it could be a mindset, it could be people, it could be our environment, it could be anything that we have this firm grip on, and even something that we don't necessarily want to have a grip on, we still have it because it's just what we're so used to. That is what's causing stagnancy here. But the universe is saying, hey, let that go. The next card is the Five of Swords, this is someone who wins at all costs, someone who uses intimidation and just dirty tactics to get what they want. I'm inclined again to say, because it's shown up in our reading, I'm inclined to say that this is us, and this again is a side of a Virgo out there who needs to drop this. This is this way of thinking of, I have to do whatever I need to do in order for me to win. I am of two minds with this card, to be honest with y'all, with the Five of Swords, okay? For the most part, I do think that it is a card, when it shows up upright, I do think that it's a card that people should be wary of, right? But I do think that there are times, and this could be, I guess, evil me speaking, I don't know what you want to call it, but I do think there are times where this is more so, like, I would consider this determination, in a way. Now that determination might show up in ways that one would say, that's toxic, or that's mean, or that's harsh, but if you're someone that's really determined to make things change, I guess sometimes you just have to be me. Sometimes you have to do the thing or express a side of you that maybe you don't even want to be most of the time, or a side of you that isn't necessarily expressed often. But in order to accomplish something, you just had to tap into that. You had to be that. You had to tap into that darkness, per se, right? Nonetheless, though, my advice for this situation here is, I don't see the Temperance card here. You don't have the Temperance card. You have two more cards, so I'll get to that. But to pretty much temper this, like this mind's like, again, I feel as though there's change that we are desiring right now. It just seems as though Virgos are really in this mode of wanting change, or needing to change things ourselves, or just change in general. That could be, like, honestly, that could be the theme for Virgos this year, to be honest with you, is change. That just came to mind, and I feel as though that might just be like the theme for the sign of Virgo, if you're like Virgo sons specifically. But again, if you are someone, we all desire change, no matter your sign. So if you have a Virgo moon, or whatever the case is, it doesn't mean that change, it doesn't apply to you, right? But I'm saying specifically, I just get a feeling that this year, because we've gotten, I want to say, some of the more memorable messages I've given, at least, and that I've gotten myself, was about simply just change. Or at least that was one of the themes that was discussed within the messages, was change. Next is the Fool card. So pretty much being free-spirited, having a fresh start. I know a lot of folks, nowadays, this is something that is more easier said than done. I feel like when people see this, and I could be wrong, but I feel as though when people see this in a tarot reading, they're like, that's nice, but I can't do this. That's nice, but that's not how the real world, like, I can't turn back time. And the Fool is not a card that is saying you can turn back time. The Fool doesn't believe that, they can turn back time, per se, right? Don't take the Fool as someone who is stupid, okay? Especially when it's upright. The Fool is simply just saying that, where something ends, there's a fresh start, Or, again, if you were to drop something, just let something go. There's just now opportunity for you to create that create that happiness, or get on that journey that you would desire, that you want to desire. For example, like, let's just say you're not really satisfied with your friend group, or you just, whatever grouping that you're with, right? A lot of people find themselves in these situations for a very long time. So find themselves in situations where they're, connected to people for a very long time, because they use this idea of, well, we've known each other for so long, or I've been a part of this group for so long, I can't just give up. You absolutely can. If you're not happy, if you're not getting anything fulfilled from it, if it's toxic now, if the feelings you once just had, if there's no point even, or like, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, listen, it's time for me to, restart, I guess, my friend group, or restart. Sorry, y'all, I got home late, so I'm still yawning and stuff, but I have a lot of work to do today. So I'm up early doing these videos and doing what else I gotta do. But what I'm saying here is it's never too late to just say, simply because you've known something or been doing something for so long, doesn't mean that you can't, you can't simply just start doing other things, right? What you feel is your calling. The last card is the Devil here. All right, so we got the Devil, and then again that Five of Swords, which isn't necessarily the most positive card either. And now we have the Devil here upright. This is pretty much like you being controlled by something, something that has a real negative control over you. That could be addiction. That could be some other form of oppression. That could be someone who has, some type of oppressive control over you. It could be a mindset. And hence why I'm saying, like, that Hangman at the beginning is really signifying change, because I feel like it's a mindset thing for us Virgos. It really is. I don't think, like, now that I'm like looking at the full picture here with these cards, and we'll see what the Oracle says, but I really think it's a mindset thing, where we will then say it's other people because maybe they their input on something is plays a part in how we feel or think. But ultimately it's us. It's ultimately we will have to realize that the change that we want, we will then have to change the way that we think, to change the things that we do, change the outcome, to change the things that we do to get the desired outcome that we want. Hopefully I'm making sense here. But I just think that's what's happening here. We've been so, because we're Virgos, we can be very stubborn, but we've been so, like, stuck in our ways. We've been so stuck in doing things the way that we're used to doing. And it's kind of like we fear looking foolish. We fear looking like a fool, starting over and maybe falling and whatever. But the fool, they trust faith. They trust themselves enough to say, I'm going on this journey, and I'm taking this leap off this cliff. I don't know what's next, but hey, let's do it. Let's start over again if I have to, right? And this could be your second, third, fourth, fifth start over. And I feel like that could play a part too as to why you might be hesitant in starting over. Because this is your multiple, this is another time where you haven't gotten things right, or you haven't gotten your ish together. But again, let go of that mindset. That mindset is the devil having control over you. It's your lower self having a sense of control over you. Because, all those other times you may have falling, you got back up and you built something, right? Now you built something, you went on this journey, and now you're falling again. I will take that mindset and say, hey, listen, I've done it in the past where I have, and I'm speaking about me, but I'm just saying in general as well too. Like, you know, I've done it in the past where, you know, I've gotten up and I've fallen, and I've gotten up and I've fallen, you know, which tells me that I can get up again. And I think that's really, really what we really need to understand for this reading here, Virgo, is that we need to understand that we can get up again. And as long as we have life and the opportunity to continue to get up, to continue to, you know, go on this journey, and that's how we get rid of, that's how we pretty much change or make our luck. You know what I'm saying? Let me take a sip real quick, because whoo, things are getting a bit emotional over here. So that's what the tarot is over here that I have for us. I'll get into the oracle card, but before I choose an oracle card, I would like to remind you to please hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe as well. Once again, if you would like that personal read, you are able to book that with me by sending me an email. You can find my email in the description box below. Just know that there are scammers in this community, so if anyone's reaching out to you claiming to be me, it is not me. At some point in time, I'm going to stop saying that, to be honest with y'all, because it's like, I don't want to acknowledge the scammers, and at this point in time, it's like, I don't think people are impersonating me, but it's always nice to take precaution. But I just don't want to keep saying that, because I don't feel like at this point saying it anymore, to be honest with you. So that's just a little something here and there, but we'll see. Anyways, our card is Eclipse of Concealment. Let me hold that close. Navigate through the eclipse of concealment, understanding the cyclical nature of hidden phases and awaiting revelations. Honestly, like I'm reading that and I'm seeing that, and again I'm seeing like the Fool's card energy of just let's just go throughout this journey. Let's just keep going. There are things about ourselves we're constantly learning about ourselves. There are things about our journey in our life that we don't, no matter how old you are, you still don't know yet. And I think that a lot of older people, and as we age, we tend to think that we know everything because we are at a big age, say whatever you consider big age. But at the end of the day, like you truly don't know until you continue on, right? You only stop learning when you decide that you're too old to start learning, you're too old to learn about yourself, about your limits, about your journey, about just things in general. So yeah, that's what I have for us Virgos. If you got anything of value from this video, please hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe. Once again, shoot me an email if you want that personal read. And yeah, I want to thank you for trusting me for being your intuitive reader for today, or at least one of your intuitive readers for today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, until next video, you see me when you see me. Take care.